KTN News. Get the whole story.
Welcome back to Weekend at One. So as promised earlier on, we're going to have that discussion with Waithaka Katumia on saving money. He is the CEO of Centonomy. So we want to talk all about money, saving the coming year, of course, 2023. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Let's just start by, earlier on, there was a poll that is saying that Kenyans are saying that 2022 was generally a bad year. How was it for you?
You put me on the spot and ask you. I think there were some good things, but there were also very difficult business choices, financial choices that I had to make. So I do resonate with what Kenyans were saying. I am a Kenyan, so I guess, yes, I saw the price of fuel going up at certain levels. I saw the shifts and the business environment change, especially when it came to the election period and the uncertainty around that. So yes, I feel I am a Kenyan, and therefore I did feel that it was not the easiest year. Let me put it that way.
And in terms of like saving and spending, how do you think Kenyans have performed? I do know that, of course, you teach this kind of classes when it comes to money. How do you think Kenyans have performed?
I think we're getting better. When you look at, for instance, the growth in the banking industry, that begins to show you that Kenyans are actually doing something with their money than they were doing in the past. So if the banking industry is going, that means that definitely people are saving more, they're investing more, they're probably borrowing more, maybe, and that's maybe something we can have a discussion about, whether the borrowing is necessarily a good thing. But definitely our work at Centonomy, and definitely partnering with folks like yourselves in the media to get information out, I think is having a positive effect, because people are more aware and alert about their finances now. Maybe not as sophisticated in the choices that they're making, but I think the awareness is beginning to get us ahead as a nation.
But you know, usually, I mean, we're starting the new year tomorrow, and a lot of the times we see these challenges, the 52-week challenge, the saving. I mean, after 2 months, sometimes people drop out of it. So is it that we don't have a saving culture as a country?
We're getting there. I think we are getting to the point at which people are saving a lot more. As I said, when you track the growth of banking, when you track the growth of mobile money applications that are being used, it means there is a greater use that is going on. People are more and more aware of their finances. And when you talk about things like that, the 52-week savings challenge, you talk about New Year's resolutions, which I'm sure we're going to discuss at some point. What it means is that people are alert that I have to make some choices. I can't just let life happen to me. And so if that is the position that you're taking, then we're in a much better position. Because if you're sitting back and waiting, oh, life is hard, I can't do anything about it, it's the end of the world. If you come at life with that attitude, it'll happen in that same way. But if you come at life with the attitude of, I can make a difference, that's what begins to happen. Because think about it, who actually changes this world? It's people like yourself, entrepreneurs who stand up and say, hey, you know what, there's a business opportunity here. I can take that. I can change this area in my community. I can do certain things. And it's those small shifts that each one of us makes that has the overall growth perspective. So those who say, I can't make a difference, all those different things, you actually have an opportunity to change the world.
Let's talk about the resolutions now. Just 3 things you think every Kenyan should prepare for the coming year 2023 financially.
Wow. I like the way you ended it with financially, because there are many different things you could plan for. So at Centonomy, we train on 3 different areas, and it's important for people to understand that. We encourage people to do, number 1, pay themselves first. Now, I know it sounds like a cliche, and I know many Kenyans think of it as paying yourself is ni kujilipa on the weekend when you go after a hard... No, that's not paying yourself. Paying yourself first means saving and investing first. What does that mean? You make saving and investing the priority. Now, I do recognize, every time I come here, I have to recognize I'm speaking to the nation. And there are some people who are living in extreme poverty and in difficulty. There, it's survival. So I have to be sensitive to that. And I'm not saying that if you're looking for the next meal and you're not surviving, that you should save something before you feed your children. No, that doesn't make sense. But for the growing middle class of Kenya, saving and investing needs to be a priority. If it is not a priority, then what happens is you put it at the end of everything else. So you pay everybody else, the bank, you pay everybody else, and it doesn't work. So make it a priority. Number 2, track your spending. Track your spending. If you cannot track your spending, you will have no idea what you're going to be able to do.
But it's not so easy. I have tried it personally. Like, it needs a lot of discipline, right?
Listen to me, nothing good in this world comes easy.
Right.
And think about it. You just saw Ronaldo signing 200 million euro plan. He didn't become one of the greatest footballers in the world by doing the easy things. No, he didn't do that. He did the work that allowed him to do that. So knowing where your money goes is a key factor to it. That's number 2. And then number 3 is focusing on assets. Now, here's the one that we struggle with, because even banks tell us, asset financing. When you hear asset financing, you hear us buy a car. Okay, so the car does have some value, but it's not necessarily the asset in the way that you think about it. So your car has value, but does your personal car put money in your pocket?
Right.
Please, I'm not saying a car is a bad thing. I have one. And I thank God for that car because it helps me. But I understand that it takes money out of my pocket rather than puts money in your pocket.
Right, just because time is also of essence at this particular point.
That's
just quickly, 3 things to avoid that, of course, hurt your pocket. Just 3 things quickly.
I won't even tell you. I'll tell you 1.
Right.
Spending for consumption. And especially borrowing around consumption. Because we've gotten so used to that we use every single cent that comes into our pocket for consumption. We're not spending a lot of our time and energy thinking about how do we invest and build assets. That's where the difference comes. And so when I'm talking like this, I do understand I'm talking to a wide audience.
Yeah.
Everyone needs to understand that they can take control of their lives. The world is going to continue the same way that it is if you don't change it. So if you take a moment and think, I can change my environment, my home. I can organize my home. I can organize my community around
Exactly,
me.
And I think that's the best way, of course, to end it. You have to take control yourself,
Take
right?
control.
Thank you so much. That is Waithaka Katumia. He is the CEO of Centonomy, just of course telling us about money habits coming 2023. Thank you so much for watching Weekend at 1. That's where we wrap it up. My name is Fathia Mohammed Noor. Have a lovely afternoon.
KTN